In August 1990, I went to the New York City Port Authority with my mother, a suitcase, and a box of personal belongings. We joined 4 other students from New York City with their mothers and went on a 26-hour bus ride to Vanderbilt University, a place where I hadn't been and I would be attending college, a place I hadn't seen beyond admissions brochures. I was going to Vanderbilt as part of an experiment that started with 5 kids. And this experiment asked, what happens when you send a group of students who are really talented from underserved communities and send them to a prestigious college together? What happens when you look at students beyond their race, their economic status, the quality of their public high schools, and their standardized test scores? What happens when you see students for their untapped gifts and their authentic knowledge? Magic happens. This photo was taken of me. Thank you. When I graduated from Vanderbilt with my bachelor's degree, and my parents were so proud. I am the daughter of immigrants from the Dominican Republic. Neither of my parents went to college. I was the first. And since that first, there have been many more. I'm the first Dominican American to serve as a president of a 4-year college or university in the history of American higher education. I'm the first woman of color to serve as vice president and dean of the college at Middlebury in 250 years. Why am I telling you about these first? Because that bus ride changed everything. Being seen clearly for all of my promise, my value, and my worth changed the trajectory of my entire life. And ever since that bus ride, I think back and I ask myself, who gets to be on the bus in the first place? When you're sitting there, who's sitting there beside you to support you on your journey? And when you finally get to that campus, are the right set of conditions in place for all students to thrive? These questions have driven my work and led me to College Track, where I proudly serve as president and CEO. Millions of high school and first-generation college students are being failed every day by educational systems that are not built for them. Only 21% of first-gen students graduate from college in 6 years. This failure is not because these students lack talent or effort to excel. These failures are because these educational environments don't see our students clearly for who they are with their full stories. At College Track, we understand that we're all more than just one story. And so we ask, what would happen if all high schools and colleges across the country centered their work on being ready for all students instead of asking all students to be ready for them? College Track began with the realization that talent, while equally distributed, opportunity is not. And so, since our first cohort of 25 ninth graders in East Palo Alto, to nearly 5,000 alumni, high school, and college scholars today, we're a movement to democratize potential through the power of higher education. This is Jayla Caston. Jayla is a College Track alumna. She graduated from UC Santa Barbara in 2019. She currently works in a microbiology lab at UC San Francisco, where she's pursuing her PhD in biomedical sciences. At College Track, we don't see Jayla with this limited narrative that's imposed on young Black women who are first in their families to go to college or who dream of careers in STEM. We see scholars, scientists, doctoral students. We see future thinkers and makers that are going to change our democracy and our planet. but much of the educational ecosystem sees the former. And so, we have work to do, and in order to change that, we have to lean into this movement. If you look at high school counselors and college chemistry professors and overworked high school counselors in general, they constantly paint that negative picture of the Jaylas in the world. So, at College Track, we're opening up a new chapter that's necessary to change all that. A new chapter that includes innovative partnerships with colleges and universities across the country. Just last week, we announced a partnership that's first of its kind with the Colorado State University system, where our students will get full tuition and fees covered, and a College Track center will be on a university campus, so that high school students can have early exposure to college. We are, in this new chapter, positioning College Track as a thought leader, leveraging the expertise of our staff so that our approaches can be seen across the country in ways that will redefine how we think about college completion among first gens. And a new chapter that unapologetically equates educational justice with social justice. Because completing a bachelor's degree in this country, for many people, remains a political and radical act. And so I ask again, what would happen if colleges and high schools all across the country centered their work on being ready for all students instead of asking students to be ready for them? Magic happens. But it only happens when you see someone clearly for all of their promise, their value, and their worth. Thank you.